Hello everybody and welcome back to Let's Play Aurora 4X C#. So, first things first, yes, another time skip happened. Quick rundown to some of the things that happened during this time skip are that designed ourselves some new 15 centimeter lasers, this time using X-ray as opposed to soft X-ray, as a heads up on what the difference is between those two. We went from 360,000 kilometers of range to 420,000 kilometers. This will give us a little bit more time on target for our lasers when it comes to them doing their area defense, point defense job, which I did figure out what our problem was the last time. It is that for area defense, unlike final defensive fire and the anti-missile missiles acting in point defense, it requires that the actual fire control that those weapon systems are assigned to actually be set to open fire. If it's not set to open fire, area defense will not work. So yes, that's a thing. Do I find it annoying that it works that way? Kind of. If the intent is that if there is no active target, you can act in a point defense mode, I feel like there's probably better ways to implement that. I'm sure there are better ways to implement that. But nonetheless, that's the thing. So, yes. Also, these new turrets of ours are slightly lighter by about 50 tons, we'll say, than the previous ones. I don't recall the exact reason for that, if it is due to improvements in our tracking speed, which I'm pretty sure is the reason. But nonetheless, yeah, they are about 50 tons lighter. Now, this did not result in us being able to add more lasers. If we go and pull up our heavy laser, the Aurora 2162, we still have the same 18 the 18 turrets as we had previously. I did go ahead and design the new power plant, the gas core antimatter, as opposed to the solid core antimatter that we were using previously. Or I think it was called solid core. Whoops. Did I accidentally mark it as obsolete? I think I might have. Nope, okay, good, I didn't. What is it called? Yeah, solid core antimatter is what we were using previously. I also went ahead and designed us some shields. The shields that we're currently using are these, what do they call them? Theta shields, I think it is. Is that right? Yeah, theta shields. However, we did, during the time skip, research Z shields, as well as shield recharge rate 4. So, I plan to use these in future iterations. These current ones, however, are this design. Or, well, more specifically, this design. So they have a shield strength of 113, which realistically might be overkill. I've never used shields, so I'm not quite sure sort of what you want to be looking for here necessarily. They are a bit slow at recharging at a 0.2 per second. The smallest increment we can do is 5 seconds. Therefore, they do 1% charge per increment. Or, well, every 5 seconds. Again, smallest increment we can do. However, like I said, I do plan to use the Z shields in the future, as well as, real recharge rate 4. That'll get us even higher. I'll probably actually drop down the shield size slightly to save some weight, as well as, Corbomite. Although Corbomite is not a resource that we have any real issues with, all things considered. We got 390,000 of it just sitting in a warehouse on Earth. We have 17,000 of it sitting in a warehouse on the moon. So, yeah, Corbomite is not something that we're necessarily desperate for. Getting more of it doesn't hurt, but we're not, in need of it. We refitted, obviously, most of our ships to include that. In fact, if we head out to, I believe it is FL Virginis. Yes. We actually picked up some raiders on our way out to do officially the third Geo Virginis campaign, which I'll talk about a little bit further later. We also sent one of our quick reaction forces. I think it was quick reaction force 1, but don't quote me on that. I really don't recall which one it was. I didn't pay attention. It makes basically zero difference in the grand scheme of things. But we sent one of them out to move Reticuli to deal with the raiders out there. As a result, we ended up capturing 2 Tekkas because we just, did enough damage to them to not destroy them, but to at least disable them. And so I sent the assault carrier out to pick those up. To give an idea as to what the Tekka actually has equipment-wise, here we go. The only difference is I did use Space Master to add on the troop transport bay so that I could more easily offload our Marines off of there. So, yes. That is not part of the original design. That is the design as it exists for me. Of course, this does mean that the AI now actually has to deal with this. And admittedly, that does result in technically the Tekkas not working as intended for the AI, because it does result in them actually being slightly larger. Well, I say slightly larger. They are at least larger than the cloaking device is able to support that they have. So, yeah, I should realistically probably Space Master that back out, and I will likely do that in a moment. It's just something that I didn't think about doing when I originally, added it, so I get the Marines back off. Because annoyingly, the game does not allow you to offload ground forces if there's not a troop transport. Just like you can't offload ordnance on a ship unless there's an ordnance transfer point on the ship, even if the planet that you're over has an ordnance transfer station. Why? Why? Seriously, why? I can understand not being able to invade a hostile planet without a troop transport bay. Certainly, that makes sense. But in my opinion, if you have troop transports, you should be allowed to unload them at a friendly planet if they're on there. You can make it so you can't load troops without a troop transport bay, but you should always be allowed to unload troops if you, for some reason, have troops on a ship that does not have troop transport bays. Same thing when it comes to ordnance. If there's an ordnance transfer station on the planet, in my opinion, the ship should not need an ordnance transfer station to be able to offload the ordnance. Because then what the hell's the point of the ordnance transfer station on the planet? That's just my opinion. It's not how the game works, unfortunately, so we have to live within these constraints. And so, like I said, I had to Space Master back on the troop transports because I believe we lost the Marine company that all of the Marine platoons are under when I was initially doing these assaults. And so I just kind of said, no, I don't feel like one by one loading up 42 frickin' Marine platoons. The Raiders attempted another invasion in the Sol system. It was the standard, God, what is the name of the troop transport? Charug, Tekka, Yaik fleet. We ended up capturing a third Yaik there. They are currently being scrapped if they have not already. It looks like they already have, actually. We then also sent another one of our quick reaction forces, I don't recall which one, out to Captain's Star, or however it's pronounced. This one. And destroyed all of the Raider ships there. Didn't feel like trying to capture any of them alive, so we took no prisoners there. And, well, that basically wraps up what happened. So, let's go ahead and finally actually get the game moving again. So, we have a Gatas, which is one of the troop transports, one of the larger troop transports, in fact, I believe. I think it's the largest of the ones that they have that we've seen. Yes, it is the largest. 3 Tekkas and a Yaik, although again, admittedly, the Tekka is probably just because this technically has the troop transport. So let's go ahead and remove that. Well, it's probably not actually, because this is within resolution 1, so we'd still be detecting them. If they were further out, we may not have been detecting the techas themselves. But yes, so let's go ahead. We have 52 minutes until we arrive on target, which is setting them for 400,000 kilometers, which is actually a little far out, considering what we really need. We know what their weapon systems are capable of. They have 160-ish thousand. So technically we can go out to like 180,000 or so. I'm just going to do 200,000 because that's kind of our magic number. Whoops, that's 2 million. It's a little too far out. There we go, 200,000. That is 34 minutes. Of course, we're not actually getting 20-minute increments because the game says, I'm updating your information. But I can do 5-minute increments, no problem. Two-minute increment. I could realistically probably do another 2-minute increment, but we're not going to do. We're just going to do a couple of 30-second increments. Okay, they are within range. Now, some of our ships still need to go and gain a little bit of training experience, and what's better training than on-the-job experience? So, you, assign to fleet, open fire. Let's use our brand new X-ray lasers. And we immediately run into failure when firing. That's always fun. And captain of the Aurora gets themselves a medal for destroying 10,000 tons of military shipping. More failures while firing. Those are always fun. Okay, that Tekka did not. What the hell happened to that Tekka? That was literally one salvo, and it should have been at full health, so I don't think we should have destroyed it immediately, but apparently we did, so okay, moving on. Okay, are the Tekkas really that much weaker than the Yaix? The Yaix took at least 2 increments. But the Tekkas are generally being destroyed in the same increment. I mean, I'll take it. I'm fine. I don't necessarily agree with it. Okay. Assigned to fleet. Now, we can technically close the distance now, which would allow our light cruisers to be capable of engaging. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Whoops, not create colony. Last contacts, close to... we have 400,000, or excuse me, 40,000 for those. So let's just go ahead and close the 30. Is that 30? No, that was 300,000. That's actually moving further away. I want to move closer. Okay, and they're already destroyed. Never mind. Never mind. Ceasefire. Down to 80% maintenance supplies, so that's great. Let's continue our journey out. So, Omega Ceti. Geo Virginis. Move to the jump point, but do not move through the jump point right now. Also, turn off Space Master again. We don't actually need it on anymore. I forgot to turn that off. Okay, we did a 22-hour increment there for some reason. Okay, now, I said that I would... Oh, and I forgot to start my timer. That's okay. So I said I would talk about our third campaign for Geo Virginis. This is officially the third campaign. Technically, we came out here before, and we realized that the enemies were, defending the jump point. Speaking of, guess what the enemies are doing? Or at least what they were doing in my tests. They still had their ships sitting on the jump point. So, we're going to need to force our way through. Which means, first things first, we need to determine where we want to go. We do not want to be right on top of the jump point. The reason for that? Very simple. Point defense requires basically that there be at least one increment of movement. Otherwise, point defense doesn't really work. Or at least, it may not work as well as it should. So we need to move out. We can't necessarily sit literally on the jump point that the enemies themselves are sitting on. We need to move further away from the jump point as soon as we jump through. So we need to figure out how far out do we want to go. Well, our laser turrets have a range of 420,000 kilometers, but I want them focused on area defense, so we technically want to be closer so that the few railguns that we do have are capable of engaging, in which case we're looking at about 200,000 kilometers. This still works fine, according to my tests. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to tell Carrier Strike Group 1 to move through, and then immediately make haste to waypoint 4. Now, the enemies are going to get free shots off on us as soon as we jump through, because we're not going to have the ability to react to their presence. But they will be able to react to ours. Not sure why it works that way, but it does. So I don't think I can necessarily actually set our fire controls to fire at will unless there is something for them to fire at will at. And unfortunately, that's not the case. So yeah, the enemies are going to get a free shot off at us, but that's partly why we have the shields. And our shields are at 100% for everybody that has a shield, which is basically everybody except for the escort frigates and the fighters. Also, I did find a way to rename the fighters as well. For anyone curious, you can rename stuff so that they follow the new naming convention by finding the design, going to ships in class, and hitting rename all. This will rename them. Now, I don't know why these guys are all adding 034 at the end. They realistically shouldn't be. So we can go ahead and also hit renumber all, and that'll correct that as well. For some reason, rename all did not necessarily do it the logical way. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is about, so you probably actually want to just use renumber all, and it'll probably achieve the effect in question. Because for some reason it seems to have decided if you use rename all to rename them all ending in whatever I guess this increment is +1. Although that doesn't seem accurate because these guys are up to 10, but this goes to 21. Oh, is it using this one? It's using this one, isn't it? Yeah, it's using this one here, I think. That would make the most sense, yes. But then not really, because you go with 034, but these guys are 118 up here, so shouldn't it be 119? I guess it's just inconsistent. Okay, let's go ahead and jump through. Boom, enemy opens fire. If we open this up, new hostile contacts, a bunch of them, intelligence based on observation of ship name that I'm not going to pronounce. Intelligence on the weapons has been updated. And one of our captains immediately suffers armor damage and gets the wound stripe medal. And our frigates are attacked. Luckily, they do not seem to be significantly damaged, which is great. But yeah, bunch of missiles. Absolute boatload of missiles. So we go into here, tell you, fire at will, fire at will. Actually, you guys fire at the same target. Thank you very much. You guys fire at will for as long as you're capable of, and assign that to fleet. You'll have a couple of increments of being able to do this. You fire at will. You guys are gonna choose different targets. Fire at will, fire at will, fire at will. You guys are gonna choose the same targets. And yeah, because our frigates don't have shields, yeah, they immediately take damage, and we might lose one of those. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we're probably not going to get a whole lot in the way of our Gauss cannons getting any shots in, but we'll live. So we fire and we destroy one of their ships. It does look like they are attempting to follow after us. We also looks like we probably destroyed all their missiles, but it's a little hard to tell. Let's see. Uh, Attacked by missiles, couple of shield hits. The Akagi still going strong because the shield still has tons of points. Updates on all the hostile contacts. I'm not quite sure what the new combat contact 97 nuclear detonations is, because I'm not quite sure who engaged. Yeah, I'm really not sure who engaged. The light cruisers, however, can clear all targets. Move further out, they fire more missiles. You guys, make sure you guys are set up. You guys are, okay. You don't seem to be firing anti-missile missiles in retaliation, as far as I can tell. Destroy hostile ships, wonderful, which does of course mean some people don't have targets anymore. Fire at will, assign fleet. You guys are still reloading, you guys are still reloading. You have a target that you're still engaging. Move out again. Attacked by missiles. Yeah, we don't seem to be getting the message regarding our final defensive fire. You know, doing the final defensive fire. I'm not sure why. But you know what? So long as it's destroying the missiles, I don't really care too much. But I would still like to get the message if you don't mind, game. But I don't seem to be getting it. And I'm not sure why. Because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to give you a message that tells you how many missiles were destroyed by the defensive fire, but it might also just be something else destroying it. Could be the anti-missile missiles, it's a little hard to tell. Because these guys reload so damn fast, and I don't see anything in here indicating that they fired their missiles in retaliation. The Akagi's shields are almost down, and the Agordot is almost down as well for its shields, so that's always fun. You know, you choose your own target. The only issue with our size 8 reloadable missile launchers is that, yeah, it takes a while to reload them. But this is basically their mobile fleet. As far as I can tell, I believe the stuff they have up here is stations. So once we can deal with all these guys, we'll be good to go. We can, in fact, actually probably end up heading back to Earth to, just make sure we are topped up on maintenance supplies. Agordot has been separated from the rest of the fleet as a result of taking damage, which sucks. So we need to readjust our facing, move to location of the Agordot because we do not want to be too far away from it if we can avoid it. Double check, what do you have that's working right now? Your issue is your engine. That's why you separated, I guess. Your engine took enough damage, yes. That seems to be the case, because you have 2 engines, I'm pretty sure. Right? No, excuse me, you have 4. So technically, you should have been able to stay in the fleet. Unfortunately, this is not Rule the Waves, where it would ask me, hey, ship XYZ is having a hard time keeping up with the rest of the fleet. Would you like to detach it? In this case, it just automatically detaches it. And I mean, that's okay. In Rule the Waves, I generally always say yes when the game gives me that pop-up. But nonetheless, it is nice to be able to say, no, don't do that right now, on the rare off chance I want to do that. Bunch more missiles. Again, for some reason, these guys just don't quite seem to be firing. And I don't know why. Assign to fleet, clear all targets, assign to fleet. See if that'll get you guys to fire. Because for some reason, it really seems like you're not. I don't know if it's because of distance that you're just refusing to do it, or if there's some other reason. You lost your beam fire control. Yes. Yes, you did. Hopefully we don't lose you. And now that I said that, we probably will. Okay, there are still a couple more ships out there. You guys need to get your beam fire control functioning again. That's your priority number 1. Where is it? Okay, it's right here. Make sure it's at the top. Because that's most important to me. This stuff, crew quarters, engineering, spaces, if it's not vital, you don't care for it right now. You take care of it later. Beam fire control, engines, power plant, shields, weapon systems. All very important. Again, rest of it, we can live with taking care of it later. A Gordok got destroyed. That fucking sucks. That didn't happen in my tests. But that's not... It was always a possibility. Just a shame that it ended up actually, being the case. One thing I could do, of course, is detach these guys. Combat. Let's see. We have people engaging the Far Reach. Although they're not being particularly successful, so I think I'm going to probably have you guys engage it yourself. Assign to fleet. Open fire fleet. Oh, excuse me, we actually don't have anyone engaging the far reach. I thought we did. Apparently I was incorrect on that assessment. You are engaging the far reach. Don't engage... yeah, don't engage the far reach. We have enough people engaging that once you take into account the missiles from the strike fighters being launched. Full in is already done. You guys don't quite seem to be doing the whole fire thing. One thing I'm also going to go and do is, let's get another one of these out. Get construction going. Use components if they exist. That won't be out until August of next year. God damn. Ninjar destroyed. Take care of the other Ninjar. You engage Far Reach 001 down there. For some reason, you guys just aren't firing, and I really don't know why. Yeah, I really don't know why you guys aren't shooting, but you know what? Change of plans. Go and try and engage that one instead. Yeah, for some reason, these guys just refuse to engage. And I don't know if it's training. Yeah, weapons are not ready yet, so it's fucking training. Go ahead and land on the requisite. On your mothership. Fire at will. Do you have missile salvos out? Oh, yes, we do. Theirs. Yeah, again, for some reason, these guys just refused to engage. I don't know why our missile fire controls or anti-missile missiles didn't fire at all, but for some reason, they just refused to do it. And I'm going to blame them for part of the reason. At least as to why the Agordot was lost. Whoops, apparently I accidentally hit the wrong thing for having people not engage. No, you engage too, because 2's further out. Are you really gonna try to come back? Okay. That was a brilliant plan on your part, I guess. Okay, rescue survivors. 212 survivors and Lieutenant Commander Sai Jie Fang. We need to do a fair bit of maintenance supply gathering, so we're going to head back to Earth, but we can safely say that we have destroyed most of the enemy. Well, We will say that we destroy the entirety of the enemy fleet, that they might have some defensive positions still operational around their home world, but that those will be swiftly dealt with within the next operation. But for now, we need to head back home and get those maintenance supplies back. Potentially to supplement our... Yeah, I know, guys. You'll survive. I realize your deployment times are going to be skyrocketing while you guys are making your way back home, but you'll live. You'll live, trust me. But yeah, we're gonna have to wait to replace the Aurora until next year, which is fun. August of next year. It's like a year and a half to build one of those ships. Losing them is not fun. Technically speaking, we could have used a different strategy and moved further away. If we had moved further away from their fleet, we probably would have actually had our frigates, our escort frigates, use their anti-missile missiles. And as a result, we may not have lost the Aurora. The reality is what we needed to do was basically just survive the enemy's missile salvos, because they don't have much in the way of guns, as far as I can tell. Missiles is like their bread and butter. If we pull up into here, we have a 105 size 4 missile launchers on the far reach. 33 size 4 missile launchers on the Folan. 33 on the Iabro, or however it's supposed to be pronounced. 43 on the Ninjar. 3 Gauss cannons with about 30,000 kilometers range on the... I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Sea Whiz on the recon vessel that we previously had captured. 33 missile launchers on the Zanzibar. The reality is these guys are a very missile-heavy species, even more than we are. So, technically speaking, we just kind of need to run them out of ammo, and then we can move in no problem. That is the reality of the situation. Is that you just gotta outlast them. Once you've done that, you're good to go. So let's get those deployment times back down. Also need to actually tell you to unload the survivors. So where is our shipbuilding rate? Right here. We have 2 more years with Vasya in charge there, where we fairly significantly speed up our build rate. Our heavy cruisers, it should be noted, have a build time of 1.28 years and a build points cost of 9,428.4. Our current shipbuilding rate is 2,100 points. This will take us to 2,700. Well, technically 2,750. So that is a 650 point increase. Which would mean that this will take a fair bit less time. Now, are we going to wait until next part to move back in? No, probably not. I just wanted to get us back home to allow us to get some of this initial, or, to get our maintenance supplies back up, because firing those guns are not exactly effective, per se. We'll get our deployment clocks back down. And then we're going to go out again and hopefully finish them. And also, I forgot, because I'm not great at the whole roleplay thing necessarily. I forget about it all the time. What I should be doing right now as well is going here and awarding a medal, President's Bravery Medal, to the Naval Admin Commander, the Fleet Commander, the Ship Commander, the XO, Commander of the Air Group, Chief Engineer, Tactical Officer, Science Officer. Yes, I'm sure. For the third GL Virginis campaign, a bunch of people get a bunch of medals. They're all happy about it. And a curiosity, who's in charge of the Akagi? It is Rear Admiral lower half of Virginia de Rosa. Virginia de Rosa? What do you have? You have medal for destroying 25,000 tons of military shipping, 10,000 tons of military shipping, 10 years of service, 20 years of service. Mentioned in dispatch for the first GL Virginis campaign, the President's Bravery Medal for the third one, and a destroy hostile ship. I completely forgot to send out medals, I guess I completely forgot to send out medals for the second campaign, because I'm pretty sure this was the third, but I might be remembering incorrectly, in which case it's supposed to be the second. But we'll just ignore that fact. But I'm pretty sure it's actually supposed to be the third. But yes, I seem to have potentially forgotten to send out the medals. Ooh, yes, mining production. That'll help us quite a bit with the gal site. Because that's the thing we have the most issue with all the damn time. It does, of course, mean that Mars is going to definitely need another... Yep. Mars is at 21,000 total production. That means they need another mass driver. They're technically supposed to be getting one. And yet, for some reason, they never seem to quite get it, and I don't know why. Luna is actually down a little bit, so I could probably take theirs off, but they still have issues actually sending the stuff out in a timely fashion, so probably not the best idea. Venus is up to 5,000 annual production of Galsite. As a reminder, so the Akagi is 3,000 for just the Akagi itself. This is not taking into account the strike wing that would exist on it. So yeah, that doesn't quite work out. Let's see. What do we research now? We could go ahead and begin research on Omicron shields, which are even better than the ones we have. That's 120,000 points. Could research far X-rays, so we get even better X-rays. Those are nice. It's 125,000 points. Ground units are sort of whatever. At least when it comes to this stuff, I don't care to use any of it. Could get some better salvage modules that'll speed up our salvage operations, which is always nice. And that's a relatively cheap tech to get. Probably go for that. That tech can actually be deleted because we're not going to be using those size 20s. As it turns out, they are not necessary in the slightest. Could do electronic hardening. We've not used that at all since some of our initial techs. It makes stuff more expensive, but it does mean that if the enemies use anything that, aka if they use, microwave, um, as their, for lack of a better way to describe it, beam fire control, or for their beam weapons, because those do use beam fire controls, your stuff is less likely to get broken because of it. And that is an option, for designing stuff. You could design a ship that just uses a giant frickin' microwave on it. The idea being that you target each enemy ship, effectively disabling its electronic systems, namely the namely the fire control systems. And sensors as well, in theory. I'm pretty sure sensors. Yes, because sensors have the electronic hardening. Do passives have that? Yeah, passives also have that. So you could technically make your enemy blind with, and incapable of firing at you by disabling all of their sensors and fire controls. And then you can just kind of swoop in and finish them off. And microwaves, I don't think, do any real damage. So it probably works great if your intent is to basically just board and capture every enemy ship. I don't think I would ever use a design like that personally, but it's probably not a terrible idea, all things considered. It's just, it's not necessarily my playstyle, so I don't think we'd ever do it. Oh, Vasya, you're no longer in charge of that. Sorry. Flavio is back, and Flavio has more. He has a higher bonus. Actually, he has the same bonus, but he has 6 extra labs, and those 6 extra labs make the difference. Because he's up to 60,000 annual research points. You were at like 40-some-odd thousand. Almost 50, I think. So we're down to January 21st of, I guess, 2165. That would make the most sense, yes. Because it's definitely not 2164. Okay, and that leaves us still with 15 labs. What do we do with 15 labs? Gotta use them for something, otherwise the game's gonna complain about it. I just don't know what to use it for. Could do 35-centimeter railguns, but I don't plan to build railguns that big. They're a little too big for my liking. Terraforming is 300,000. That's going to take way too long, but I guess it is something that we could just dump points into so that we're not having the labs just kind of wasting away. But honestly, in this case, if I'm going to do that, I'm kind of more inclined to say, let's go for better shields. We can just kind of skip a whole generation of shields. Potentially. I mean, this is 6 years of research. So realistically, probably not. I guess it just depends upon how much of a threat the aliens in GL Virginis end up being. Because realistically, the current shields are okay. We kind of got unlucky because I think the enemies were concentrating fire on the Agordot. If they hadn't done that, we'd have probably been fine. Okay. Salvage Fleet 1 has returned from Capitan's Star, finally. Unload all ship components, unload all minerals. What did you get us? 10-centimeter railgun, 20-centimeter railgun, various active sensors, some beam fire controls, ion drives, shitty old ECM1s, passive sensors, old reactors, more passive sensors, Almost 2,000 Galsite. Wonderful. I've got a bunch more stuff for you to go and pick up over in Geo Virginis, but I'm not going to send you out there until I know the area is reasonably secure. I could probably send you with a quick reaction force and you'd be okay. And the main fleet can kind of keep the enemy distracted. It's just a question of, do I want you doing that in the middle of an active combat zone? Like, is it really a good idea to be attempting to salvage in an active combat zone with you? Probably not. But we could technically do it. But yes, I would advise against it. Okay, you guys all, your deployment clocks are not quite back at 0 across the board. But I think you're okay, realistically. Omega Ceti, GL Virginis. We're going to do the same thing we did last time, move to the jump point, and then we will jump through. We know that they still have some active ships that can move. You know, we destroyed 4 Ninjars, but they have a total of 15, apparently. We destroyed one of this P class, as we'll call it. They have another one. So, yeah, they still have quite a bit of stuff in orbit over their homeworld. So, I have no way of knowing if they moved those ships that can move over top of the jump point. If they did, I don't want to jump through until, you know, I have a better idea of what's there. $25,000 research points. For Elizabeth, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name, but it starts with a Q. I would absolutely butcher it if I attempted to pronounce it. Okay, more raiders detected in the Gata system. I guess we're going to take care of these guys, because might as well deal with them as we're passing by. Yep, kind of figures you had stuff there. Gonna need to get a, FL Virginis. Was it? I swear it was FL Virginis where we destroyed a bunch of stuff before, but I'm not seeing the Rex, and I'm pretty sure we didn't send anybody out here to take care of it. What the hell happened to the Rex? Okay. Well, the Rex that were here apparently magically poofed out of existence somehow, and I'm not quite sure how. But we're basically right back where we started at the beginning, minus the fact that we're missing a heavy cruiser. I have zero fricking clue as to what the fuck happened to the Rex. Because we didn't send a ship out here. The salvage fleet was busy out in Capitan Star, and we only have the one. So who the fuck grabbed the Rex? Seriously. Who grabbed the Rex? Why are you firing on the Gatas? I'm pretty sure I didn't tell you. Oh, I accidentally did tell you to fire on the Gatas. Okay, well, that would explain the problem then. Which does mean I need to redo your orders on following because I accidentally fired on the wrong ship. So you are firing, or you are following Techo 105, so don't fire on Techo 105. You can fire on 106 and 107. Still waiting on 107 to be destroyed. There we go. Now fire on 105. How many maintenance supplies do we waste on that? Almost half of our maintenance supplies on the Abercrombie. Wonderful. We're going to say fuck it and keep on moving on. Game, you better not despawn these wrecks magically. Because I still don't know what happened. We literally were in the FL Virginia system initially. I know we were because we had to jump through to Omega Ceti. But magically, apparently the wrecks that we destroyed at the start of this part poofed out of existence. And I'm pretty sure that they were done basically in this exact same position. So what the hell happened to them? No, game, I want to pass through. Yep, enemies are here. And our one last CA has apparently been damaged and forced to break off, so we're gonna have to engage like this. Did they really fuck your shields up that badly? Yes, they did. Concentrated fire tends to hurt a lot, I guess. Fire. Whoops. Holy shit, the game is lagging like there's no tomorrow. Come on, I want to move down here. Nope, I think he moved too far now. I don't know why the game is lagging so damn much. Fire at will, assigned to fleet. Accidentally did twice. Guys are having issues getting shots fired. Don't worry, it happens to the best of us. Your beam fire controls are busted. You are no longer capable of firing because the enemy has moved on top of us, so I need to reissue that order to move to waypoint 4 so we can get our missiles off again. Still having issues getting shots off for some reason. There we go. Bit better luck. You guys cease fire because you're clearly not going to do it. Clear your target, cease fire. You open fire, yes. God damn it, game. We're going to need to get a... one of our tugs out here. Oh, I need to rename our tugs. Megacetti, GL Virginis, Fleets, U. Tractor any ship and fleet, bring it back to Earth. Release tractored ship, refuel, resupply yourself. Salvage fleet 1. I'm going to have you route out to here. Don't go for the Abnaki 3 because I think it's too far out. I think. Or is it down here? Oh no, the Abnaki 3 is down here. Never mind. Yeah, get that. ID 176, 177, 189. Don't go, are the Tekkas down here? I think they are. Or not. Can't really tell. It's a little hard to tell when you got a giant freaking list. Yes, stay away from anything that is up here, which looks to be all the Tekkas. I don't know what number these are, but I think I'm going to tell you to just not bother with any of the Quarrens. And unfortunately, I can't just click on those to remove them, so I need to manually reissue your orders. And yeah, that should work. I am going to go ahead and have, I think, Quick Reaction Force 2 come out here to help watch you. You're going to move out to waypoint 4 to serve as a sort of early warning system. There's something still down here, apparently. That's good to know, I guess. Not really. What the hell is down there that we weren't picking up before? Oh, another Shayu. Which one is it? It looks like it's a 3. Wonderful. Now, I need you to try to make your way back down to here. So that you can engage that one. You clearly are not going to engage. Luckily, they're... Fuck, we lost that. So I need to build another one. God damn it. We lost both of our armored cruisers. Using any components that exist. That one will be done November. Salvage fleet, I have another order for you when you get up here. Got another Agordot that I need you to deal with. Get down here and grab the life pods. Abercrombie is basically out of supplies, so you're gonna have to go back to Earth. Did you guys use any of your missiles? No, because no, actually we did. One salvo. I don't know what the hell your guys' issue was with getting your missiles fired. Even the guys that have 100% training, you suck. Hope you know that. You guys absolutely suck. Quick Reaction Force 2 will get here quite a bit faster than the salvage fleet. So we can help to make sure this area is still secure. With the Quick Reaction Force just kind of taking up that duty. We're dealing with jump shock, so having a hard time getting back out. There we go. Successful 4th campaign. In a sense. God fucking damn it. Tekka came out of nowhere. Fuck off, buddy. Nobody wants to deal with you. Attacked us literally as we came out of the jump point. What a dick. Oof, yeah, we've got a lot more survivors this time, so we're taking a double penalty to deployment. Okay, Quick Reaction Force 2 has arrived. Why do you guys seem to not have your actives on? Oh, they are. Never mind. I'm sorry. I just forget. You guys have such long range that I can't see it. So this will give us a little bit of warning for the salvage fleet. It's gonna take the salvage fleet 20 freaking years to grab all this shit. Need you to unload survivors. And this is a clear indication that our current shields are not necessarily 100% adequate. So we're definitely still going to have to improve our shields. And we could do that. It's realistically not a significant refit if I were to do it now. It's just Corbomite. So again, it's not a resource we have a hard time getting access to. And I think I'm going to do it. Plus we have the better recharge time. And I think our research for recharge rate 5 is still a long ways out. We're still looking at like another year for that. So, yep. Okay. Even though we just did refits very recently for these guys, we're going to go ahead and do some new ones. Fairly minor. It's literally been a year. These designs are like a year and a half old. But we need some better stuff, so we're going to have the long defense systems. Whoops. X141, R258. Same size as the current ones. Better shield strength by about 30. A little less than 30, but we'll just round and say 30 for the sake of simplicity. And a bit better recharge rate. The current ones are 565 seconds recharge rate. The new ones are 528. Go ahead and prototype that. Go to prototypes. Add on long defense. Whoops. Copy class, rename. Whoops, not 4. It's not gonna take that damn long. Only thing you're changing out is your shield, buddy. Also, I don't know why I bothered prototyping it. I should have just told it to create, but that's fine. It doesn't really matter. This is the destroyer escort. Never mind. Oh yes. I was considering adding them finally onto the escort frigate. Well, not finally. I was considering adding them onto the escort frigate. I just wasn't quite sure if I wanted to actually do that. Also, you didn't actually take the name that I wanted you to use for some reason. So yes, it's going to be a significantly smaller at only shield strength 13. That's largely just to avoid making them any larger, because I really don't want them to be larger. So it's due to be a minor, well, it's a fairly minor refit still, but it's a bit of an improvement. Bit extra. There's no reason to improve the missile launchers on these, because they're such small missiles that they fire. We did research rate of fire 7. During the, during the time skip. So, shaves 200 seconds off of the reload time, which is a fairly decent improvement, if I do say so myself. That's my timer going off. Of course, we're going to have to now refit the Argodots as soon as they come back out, but that's okay. These refits should not take very long because they are such minor things. We're literally just going in, grabbing the old shield module and slapping a new one in. So they shouldn't take particularly long. And yeah, I realistically should probably get these guys refitted. I think it's the freighters that slow you down, isn't it? Yeah, your max speed is 46,000. It has to be the freighters. And that would be correct, yes. We get a fairly significant speed improvement by swapping out our freighters, because they're still using the old magnetic fusion drives, which are not that great, all things considered. So, like, literally exact same size engines, but using solid core antimatter gets us up to an engine power of, 1,280 as opposed to 920. Fairly decent improvement in speed. So yeah, we need to also get the freighters upgraded on the, actually, those are the versions you're using, right? The 4s? Yeah, the class 4s, or excuse me, the block 4s. So yeah, we need to get them upgraded to the block 5s, but I first need to research the engine. But first things first, when it comes to research, is going to be getting the new shields. Won't take very long. We'll get those later this month. Let's go ahead and let the part run a bit long to get those. Oh good, we recovered a laser turret. That actually is beneficial, because it will speed up building more Argodots, so long as we continue to use those turrets. Okay, there's the new shields. Whoops, wrong thing. Go here. Kagi. Retool. Or 2163. Graph spree. Oh, the graph spree actually, I think, still has some other stuff it needs to research. Yes, the new missile launcher, that need to research those as well. My bad. Forgot about that. Let's research the new missile launchers as well. Get those January. Jesus, 5 days for that. Well, a little over 5 days. Double check, is that the last of it? Yes, it is. Wonderful. Rename you 2163. Research the smaller reactor shields as well. Might as well do the refits for the escort frigates as well. And let's get obsoleted all of the other designs that are being replaced right now. Okay, so graph spree here. Retool for 2163. Argodot. This shouldn't break anything. Where are you? CL Amsterdam 2163. Abercrombie. Go. You had a slipway. Let's go and get the small shields for the escort frigates ready. Okay, Abercrombie, Agadot, and Amsterdam have all already done theirs. Amsterdam refit the old Amsterdams. These will be done in January. Yeah, these refits will not take very long because they're such minor things. From 162 to 2163. I didn't pay attention to when those are supposed to finish. Those are January 29th. A bit longer, surprisingly, for some reason. I don't know why. Why does the Abercrombie take a bit longer? I'm really not sure, because the only difference is the shield. It shouldn't take an extra freaking 12 days to do those. But okay, you do you, game. You do you. I won't fight you on it. I don't agree with it, but I won't fight you on it. There are some very, very different refit times, and I don't know if there's some other explanation for it. The Akagi is going to shave 3 days off on the refit time compared to the Amsterdams, even though the refit difference is literally the same. It's just swapping the shields. Literally nothing else has changed. There's no reason for it to be such a vast difference in terms of refit times. They should all take the same amount of time, unless the size of the shipyard somehow has an effect on build times, which I don't think makes any sense, because that size is just supposed to be the max size of a ship you can build. There's no reason that a shipyard that is twice as big as it needs to be to build any ship would somehow speed up construction, or in this case, refit times in any way. It shouldn't. There's no reason for it to do that. But yes, for some reason, the Akagi will do the refit ending on the 14th. The Amsterdams will do it on the 17th, and the Abercrombies will do it on the 29th. Again, the logic is lost on me, but apparently that is the case. Now, one thing to check real quick before we do end is, what do they have in terms of ships that can move again? They're all out of far reaches, as far as we know. All out of Folans, the Yabros. They still have a number of Ninjars. We've, as far as we know, destroyed all their Sansabars and the Shayus. So, okay. They, as far as we know, in terms of ships that we're certain are capable of moving under their own power, they don't have quite as much. And yes, I did in fact forget to give out a medal to everybody for what is supposed to be the 4th campaign. Let's go ahead and do that now as well. President's Bravery Medal. Again, same thing, all the same people. I think I put 2 T's in there somehow. So 4th GL Virginis campaign medal for all of them. As a reminder, that medal is not really worth much. It's 100 points, same as the mention in dispatch. I just kind of use them interchangeably sometimes, depending upon what's going on. But yeah. It doesn't really give a whole lot in the way of promotions, or, in terms of promotion points. So it's not really worth a whole hell of a lot, all things considered. That was salvage from a far reach that we just got, actually. Which I don't think really gives us any significant information, but it... So size 4 missile launchers, but we don't know what... Do we know what the reload rate is on the missiles? I don't think we do. No, we do not have that information, so yeah. That is unfortunately not something we know about. Also, their engines are not super efficient at 0.5 liters per engine hour. That's not the greatest. As a reminder, we're at 0.25, if I recall correctly. Yeah, 0.25. So our engines are twice as efficient as they are, which is always nice. Quick reaction force 2 is down to 80%. Maintenance. Oh, you guys don't have full. Oh, I probably just forgot to tell you to actually, load up. That's my bad. But yeah, whoops. You'll survive. You'll survive. It's okay. The hope is that you never need to use it. By you guys being there, hopefully that just kind of scares the enemy off, and they don't attempt to send anybody out. That's our hope. So, okay. Yep, let's get that last engine tech real quick, or not engine, shield tech real quick, and get the retooling started on its shipyard. Okay, that's the chili papas that are done. Refit, chili papas. These ones are gonna take longer. Why? Oh, yes, you guys have more. Well, okay, no. So, excuse me, the Graf Sprees actually makes sense, because the Graf Sprees also have their missile launchers being replaced. So that makes sense that they're going to take 17. I still don't know what the hell was the deal with the Abercrombies taking to the 29th. There's no good reason for that. But yeah, so yeah, the Achille Papas are going to take until April 4th. Quite a bit longer, but it is a fair bit of a difference. And yes, we're going to also be refitting the ones in the quick reaction forces, because might as well. That can be listed as obsolete now. Escort frigate. Let's retool you for the 2163 version. You'll have that done January 17th. You know what? Fuck it. It's only a couple of days. Let's go ahead and let the time go a bit longer. This is going to be... Oh, and I need to also do the research labs. Forgot about that. Game's going to complain about that. Put that back onto the research rate. Actually, do you have all of your labs? Yes, you do. Okay. You don't have all of your labs, however, so let's give you all of yours. Speed that up just a tad bit. That gets us to December of some year. We can make a guess. We're looking at about 5 years at current research rate for the Omicron shields. Um, and you are the best person for the job because the other person who has a similar amount of labs as you has the exact same bonus. So, yeah, that doesn't exactly help. So, yeah, we're 5 years until we get the next generation of shields. And that's just for the shields. That's not even taking into account the regeneration rate, which is a little bit sooner, July of next year. So, yeah, we've got a bit of a ways to go there. But we'll be fine. That'll help us out quite a bit. I did tell you to do yours, right? Yes, okay. This part's going a bit long, partly because I started the timer late, and then because I'm saying, well, let's go ahead and get all this stuff started at least. So the graph spree has finally finished the retooling. That took quite a while. And these won't be done until May. Sorry, game. Oh, excuse me, the Achilles. I was reading that completely wrong for some reason. I don't know how I read that wrong. Oh, probably because this is Achille Papa and this is Achilles, so they're very similar. I was very confused for a moment. Yes, you guys do your refits. You will have yours done February. Wonderful. Yours are going to be a bit more extensive because you're replacing the armor. You're adding the shields. And you got some, maintenance storage and whatnot, which also includes some crew quarters because of probably mostly the shield, but the storage bays also contribute a little bit of crew because that makes sense. I personally still don't quite get that, but whatever. I think our fifth attempt into the GL Virginia system will probably be the final attempt. I think that is when we will finally be capable of actually delivering the decisive blow that we need to finish this off. The main thing that we're needing to deal with right now is getting the last, or well, rebuilding our lost heavy cruisers because we weren't quite far enough out to be able to deal with the missile spam nearly as well as I would have liked. I'm not quite sure what the deal was there. Our guys just didn't quite seem to be doing a great job of engaging the missiles. So yeah. But I think, like I said, next attempt will be the most successful. I'm not sure if there'll be another time skip or not. We'll see. The reality is we're kind of stuck waiting until August. Or, well, not even actually August, because we had to build the second one later. So we're actually stuck waiting until November of 2164 for us to have both of our Agordots. And then these need to be refitted, so add on like another month. So realistically, we're probably not good until like the end of this year to even really consider going back out there for a fifth attempt. Or what I'm pretty sure is supposed to be the fifth attempt, because apparently I forgot to hand out medals for the second attempt. Assuming I didn't manage to screw up and misremember and think that we did a second attempt when we actually didn't. But either way, what I believe is the fifth attempt, I think will be the last one, but it's probably not happening until the end of this year. So there might be another time skip just because I don't see much really happening. And I will admit that the game progresses quite a bit slower when I'm recording. And it's largely just because I need to deal with other stuff, when raiders attack, especially if it's a sizable fleet, when they attack the Sol system particularly, or even really Psi Ceti and Alpha Centauri also, but particularly in the Sol system, that really slows us down because I got to deal with that. And that can basically take up an entire part, potentially even 2 parts. While when I'm able to just kind of off-screen that, because we've seen it a million times, we know they're not going to be successful at this point. It's significantly faster me doing it off screen than me doing it on screen. So the reality is I probably will do another time skip until we're ready for the 5th campaign. But we'll see. We'll see. I haven't, like I said, fully decided. That's just what I'm likely going to do because I think it's the easiest thing to do right now. But yes, so I will see you all next time. Quick reminder, if you want to stay up to date with the channel, my go-to place for posting channel updates is in the Discord server. You can find a link to it down below in the description. If my math is correct, I think this part is probably going to be coming out around the time in which I will actually be making the move into my new place. So there will be, I probably won't be recording it all that week, and potentially even the week after as I sort of finalize getting everything set up. The lucky thing is that I am pretty far ahead on recordings for this series. I don't recall where I am right now. Actually, I think the last episode I recorded was like 41. So this should be 42, I believe. And I think the part that went up most recently, I think the most recent part that I rendered out was part 32. So I have like 10 parts, basically, that either need to be rendered out or need to be uploaded. So, yeah. I don't think it will result in a noticeable effect on the channel upload schedule, but there might be a minor one. There might be a bit of a blip there where there's just nothing one week. We'll see. My math might be slightly off on this, and of course, I still plan to record between now and then, so I fully expect that my backlog will grow. So, again, I don't think you'll notice any actual, like, disruption to the channel, but we'll see. But yeah, so I'll see you all next time. Also, if you want to support the channel financially, 2 major ways to do that are Patreon and Streamlabs. Link to those both in description. Patreon is best if you want to support the channel on a monthly basis. Streamlabs if you want to do just one-time periodic donations. But I will see you all next time. Glory to the Republic.